When you sign an offer letter for a $5,000 monthly salary, you are participating in a mathematical illusion. You will never actually see that money. To see how that money disappears, let's track two coworkers, subject A and subject B. They start on the same day with the same title and the same gross income. This chart shows their gross pay on payday, but federal, state, and payroll taxes are shaved right off the top before the bank transfer even happens. The balance hitting their accounts is $3,800. Even with the same baseline, their reactions diverge. Subject A views that $3,800 as their monthly spending limit. Subject B immediately slices off a chunk of that net income and routes it into a separate investment account. Budgeting based on the gross salary figure ignores the reality of the bank balance. It obscures the fact that the money is already being depleted, requiring a strategy to protect what remains. Both workers are now operating in a reality where they have significantly less capital than their offer letters stated. Subject A spends their entire net check. They lease a car, buy premium groceries, and expand their daily consumption to match every available dollar. Subject B uses a contrasting approach. They build a rigid system to intercept their own money before they can even look at it, much less spend it. This is financial automation. It is an engineered structural barrier between your money and your impulses. By forcing the transfer on payday, the system removes human temptation from the process. These two coworkers are now operating under two different sets of rules. One relies on willpower to manage their future, while the other has built a system to remove human error from the equation. 3 years later, both workers reach a milestone and receive an identical 20% raise in their gross income. Subject A immediately upgrades. They move into a premium apartment, eat at more expensive restaurants, and absorb the new income with new liabilities. This is lifestyle creep. When baseline expenses rise to match available capital, a higher salary simply creates a more expensive baseline. Subject B also receives the raise, but we can see on this flowchart how their system responds. A mechanical gate in their bank routing captures the surplus and forces the entirety of the raise into their wealth pipeline. As their incomes grow, both subjects are now exposed to macroeconomic forces that penalize higher earners. First, systemic inflation begins eroding their raw purchasing power. Because Subject A has built a much more expensive lifestyle, the rising cost of goods hits their budget significantly harder. Then comes bracket creep. This graph plots Subject A's rising income. As their gross pay crosses into a higher tax bracket, a secondary red line triggers. The government now takes a larger proportional slice of their earnings. The math here compounds. They are paying inflated prices for goods while surrendering a larger percentage of their check to taxes. The actual disposable income space is squeezed from both ends. By earning a higher gross salary, they have technically become poorer in actual net purchasing power. 10 years later, look at the cumulative net worth curves for our two subjects. They started from the exact same point, but the results are wildly divergent. Subject A's curve flatlines near zero. Despite boasting a high income, they live in a state of paycheck-to-paycheck panic, barely covering the maintenance costs of their own life. Subject B's curve points exponentially upward. They sit inside a secure financial fortress, and the entire structure was built by automated background processes running silently over the decade. The modern financial landscape is a system of engineered frictions. Taxes, inflation, and consumer marketing, all designed to siphon capital away from the individual. Wealth is the capital that manages to survive the system's friction. Surviving that friction requires a defensive plan. The first step is a psychological shift. Budget exclusively by your net income and stop acknowledging the gross salary figure. Second, when you receive a raise, calculate the compounding effects of the new tax bracket before you commit to new lifestyle liabilities like higher rent. Finally, implement forced interception. Set up your accounts to route your investment funds away from your checking account the exact moment your paycheck clears. Financial security is not provided by an offer letter. It requires engineering a defensive system to protect the money you already make.